Myth number 2, sitting is the new smoking, and why it's not that simple. Myth number 2, sitting is the new smoking, and why it's not that simple. The phrase gets thrown around so often it feels like accepted truth, a neat, dramatic shortcut that lumps desk work in with chain smoking as if both are equally toxic in the same way. But the reality isn't that clean. Sitting itself isn't a poison. Every species on Earth rests. Birds perch, lions sprawl in the grass, chimps lounge in the shade. The human body is built to mix activity with rest, not to avoid rest entirely. What makes our version different and risky is how long we stay in one position without a break. In traditional settings, sitting was just one posture in a cycle of many. A chimp might squat to crack nuts, then swing up into the canopy. Early humans could sit near a fire, then stand to tend cooking, then crouch to work stone or wood. Those rests were short, never locking joints and muscles in the same angles for unbroken hours. Today, many people sit for 4, 6, or 8 hours at a stretch, through meetings, commutes, and screen time, with barely any shift in position. That's the piece the slogan oversimplifies. It's not sitting itself, but prolonged, uninterrupted sitting that drives the problem. The risk comes from what happens inside your body during those long, still blocks. Muscle activity, especially in the big postural muscles of the legs, drops sharply. Circulation slows and the ends that help clear fat from the bloodstream, like muscle lipoprotein lipase, all but idle. Blood sugar regulation changes. Research on breaking up sedentary time shows that even a brief walk or light movement can lower post-meal glucose levels. Without those interruptions, energy use drops and metabolism shifts toward conservation. Meanwhile, your spine stays fixed in the same curve, hips in the same angle, and the same small set of muscles either carries the load or rests completely. Over time, endurance fades and stiffness increases. Your brain feels it too. Light, regular movement sends small bursts of oxygen-rich blood to the brain, supporting focus, reaction time, and mental flexibility. When posture never changes, those boosts don't happen, and alertness slowly ebbs, processing speed dips, focus wavers, and you can find yourself rereading sentences or losing your train of thought. You might think you're working fine, but measurable performance can slide long before you feel overt fatigue. Here's where the nuance matters. Someone who spends many total hours sitting, but interrupts it every 30 to 60 minutes with a short change in position, is in a different risk category than someone who stays locked in place for giant chunks of the day. Smoking carries harm from the act itself, every time. Sitting carries harm from duration without change. When you understand that, the solution becomes much more manageable. You don't have to reject the chair, just interrupt your time in it. And research tells us those interruptions don't have to be big. In studies published in Sedentary Behavior Reviews and supported by field interviews with Daniel Lieberman, breaks as short as 60 to 90 seconds of light movement, like a walk across the room or a set of standing calf raises, improve metabolic markers and circulation. Healy and colleagues' work suggests aiming for that refresh every half hour to an hour during routine desk work. These shifts activate muscles, re-engage enzymes like lipoprotein lipase, and counter the postural stagnation that builds from stillness. Think of each break as a system reboot. Stand to refill a water bottle, pace during a phone call, shift between sitting and supported standing. These light activities aren't meant to burn significant calories. They're there to prevent your body from slipping into a prolonged idle mode that's harder to correct later. Fieldwork in active cultures shows natural breaks happen far more often, sometimes every 10 to 15 minutes, but for most office environments, a 30 to 60-minute rhythm is realistic and effective. The benefits show up quickly. In lab settings, participants who moved every half hour maintained steadier attention and reacted faster in decision-making tasks compared with those planted in their seats for long blocks. Physically, they reported less stiffness, fewer aches, and better comfort across the day. Metabolically, those short breaks helped keep blood sugar from spiking as high after meals and supported the enzymes that manage fat processing, effects linked to long-term cardiovascular health. It's also about becoming aware of the tipping points. Slouching into your chair, losing track of a conversation, struggling to pull an idea into focus. Those are early signals that too much uninterrupted sitting is already taking a toll. If you wait until you feel physically restless, you've probably gone too long without a change. That's why building movement into natural transitions, finishing a work block, sending an email, wrapping up a meeting, makes it easy to keep up. Each natural pause is a cue to stand, move for a minute, and then sit again if that's most comfortable. Once this becomes routine, you stop seeing it as a disruption. Small breaks protect the quality of the time spent at your desk, so even if you're in the chair a little less, you often get more done. They also help break the mental pairing of work with stillness. Different postures and movement contexts can change how the brain approaches problems. You might brainstorm more easily on your feet or think more strategically while pacing. So rather than telling yourself never sit, which is impractical and ignores the evolutionary role of rest, focus on not turning sitting into an unbroken state. For most people, a realistic target is to interrupt sitting roughly every 30 to 60 minutes, even with just 60 to 90 seconds of light movement. That could be calf raises, shoulder rolls, or a short walk. These micro breaks cost little time but restore circulation, activate muscles, and revive focus. Before you move on to the next section, try this. Stand up, do one slow calf raise, then one shoulder roll. Sit back down and notice whether your attention feels subtly sharper. That's the mechanism in action. Light movement wakes up body and brain quickly. Changing how you sit is far less extreme than the new smoking slogan suggests. The aim isn't fear, it's control. Building steady, repeatable breaks into your day so you avoid the slow drain of long stillness. Over time, you'll notice fewer afternoon crashes, and your clearest thinking hours will stretch further into the day. And once you have that foundation of better energy throughout the day, the next question is how to use your movement time for more than just breaking stillness. How to build the kind of strength that quietly supports mental and physical stamina well beyond the office. Myth number 3. Strength training is just for gym people. Myth number 3. Strength training is just for gym people. For many, the idea of lifting weights is tied to images of bodybuilding stages, powerlifting meets, or crowded fitness centers filled with clanging plates. Cardio feels simpler and more approachable. You put on shoes, go for a run or a brisk walk, and feel like you've done your part for the day. Strength training often gets filed under only for people who really live at the gym, so it's easier to skip than to figure out how to use a barbell, a set of dumbbells, or resistance bands. At first, that decision might seem harmless if you're staying active in other ways. Over time, it changes more than just muscle tone. It affects how your body and brain handle the demands of each workday. Muscle declines naturally with age, a process called sarcopenia. It happens slowly, so it's easy to miss at first. Starting around age 30, most adults lose about 3 to 5% of their muscle mass each decade without targeted resistance training. That erosion shows up in more than physical strength. It's linked to how efficiently your brain can sustain focus and problem solving over long hours. Muscles act as storage and release points for energy throughout the body and help regulate metabolic processes that influence blood flow to the brain. When muscle function fades, stamina for both physical and cognitive work drops, and tasks that used to feel effortless can start to drain you more quickly. There's also the stability factor. Muscle strength supports your joints and helps you adjust fluidly to changes in position. When that support weakens, simple transitions, standing up from your chair, bending to pick something up, can feel a little less smooth. You may subconsciously avoid certain movements, further reducing circulation and reinforcing sedentary patterns. That creates a loop where both mental and physical energy taper down, often without you noticing the cause. Multiple randomized controlled trials and meta-analyses show consistent cognitive benefits from resistance training. Participants training 2 or 3 times a week for 8 to 12 weeks improved executive function, processing speed, and working memory compared to control groups. In older adults, it can slow the rate of cognitive decline. In younger adults, it boosts adaptability and problem-solving speed. These skills, prioritizing, filtering, distractions, switching between tasks, are directly relevant to high-quality work performance. They aren't confined to the gym. They're the tools you use to run a meeting, respond quickly to unexpected problems, and make better decisions under pressure. The benefits aren't purely mental. Stronger muscles send stronger, clearer signals through your nervous system. That impacts coordination, posture, and general physical readiness, all of which shape how responsive and focused you feel on the job. Everyday actions like holding yourself upright at a desk or pivoting to interact with someone nearby are supported by the underlying muscle base you carry. If it's strong and well-trained, those movements are effortless. If it's weak, they can subtly add to fatigue. Resistance training also influences how your body reacts to stress. Deadlines, client calls, and unexpected complications trigger hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Well-trained muscle helps buffer those responses through better glucose control and a higher capacity to use surges of energy without tipping into anxiety or panic mode. That steadier physical state makes it easier to stay calm and think clearly when things get intense. For busy professionals, strength work doesn't require a full gym. Twice a week, just 2 sessions of 20 to 40 minutes can be enough to initiate benefits shown in research. If you have no equipment, that could mean bodyweight squats, push-up variations, and lunges. With a resistance band, you can add rows or presses. If you have dumbbells or kettlebells, try loaded carries, goblet squats, or overhead presses. These are foundational movements backed by studies as effective for building strength and improving cognitive markers. The key is progressive overload, not necessarily lifting heavy at first, but gradually asking your muscles to do a little more over time so they adapt. Most research showing mental and physical gains used sessions where form was prioritized, effort built steadily, and rest between sets was enough to maintain quality movement. You don't need to chase exhaustion. The objective is consistency, not collapse. Pairing strength training with aerobic activity creates a more complete physical base. Cardio boosts endurance and heart health, while resistance exercise improves muscle mass, nervous system efficiency, and metabolism. Together, they address different aspects of energy production and mental clarity. Even for people already meeting cardio guidelines, adding strength work has been shown to shift markers for focus and fatigue resistance in ways cardio alone does not. Changes to physical appearance might take weeks or months, but cognitive improvements often appear faster. Some participants in controlled studies report clearer thinking and better afternoon focus within the first month of starting strength training. That's likely because rising muscle engagement quickly improves metabolic regulation and blood flow patterns, even before visible muscle size changes appear. For many, the biggest barrier is reframing what strength training means. It's not reserved for people aiming for larger muscles or spending hours lifting weights. It's a practical, research-backed tool for preserving the ability to think, react, and endure the demands of modern work. A short appointment with resistance training twice a week is as much an investment in professional performance as any productivity strategy you might try. Skipping it may not feel like a loss today, but gradual muscle decline often shows up first in small, inconvenient ways. A slight loss of balance, stepping off a curb, more effort required to carry groceries, drifting focus during a critical part of the day. These aren't just annoyances, they're signs that resilience is slipping. Strength training is one of the few accessible methods that slows or even reverses those changes. If you manage a career, maintain a household, or simply want to keep independence as you age, resistance training applies to you. Starting now allows each set and rep to build a margin of protection against the physical and cognitive dips that tend to accelerate later. And because it is effective in modest doses, it can fit into even a full schedule without requiring a major shift in lifestyle. The most important change is viewing it as an essential part of your week, not an optional extra when you have time. Over months and years, that consistency shapes your capacity to handle stress, sustain focus, and produce high-quality work. Strong muscles don't just help you lift, they help you carry mental performance through the hours that matter most. And once you start thinking about physical activity as a way to drive mental output, it raises another question. How do you know if you're actually doing enough of the right kinds of movement each day? That's where many people turn to the numbers on their wrist, trusting step counts and heart rate data to tell the whole story. But those readouts may not be showing you the full picture. The productivity equation your fitness tracker doesn't show. The productivity equation your fitness tracker doesn't show starts with understanding that the numbers on your wrist are only part of the story. A high step count can feel satisfying, but steps measure volume, not the quality, timing, or type of movement. And they certainly don't show whether your mental energy has stayed steady through your workday. Health organizations like the WHO and research in the British Journal of Sports Medicine point out that while step counts are a useful baseline, patterns of activity matter more for certain outcomes. Breaking up long periods of sitting and sprinkling in short bursts of higher intensity effort, sometimes called vigorous intermittent lifestyle physical activity, are stronger predictors of metabolic health and reduced disease risk than total steps alone. You could clock 10,000 steps but take most of them in a single evening walk, leaving the rest of your day spent in a static posture that dulls focus and energy. Mental performance responds to when and how you move as much as how much you move. Too little activity and your alertness drops. Too much intense effort at once and you can sap the very resources you need to do complex work. The most productive rhythm is one where movement regularly nudges your brain into a more alert state without pushing your body into extended recovery mode during your core work hours. That balance comes from thinking beyond exercise as one block of time, and instead layering the three main categories: cardio, strength, and mobility, so that each plays a different role in supporting both body and mind. Cardio improves blood flow and regulates the delivery of fuel to the brain. Strength builds the muscular infrastructure that stabilizes your posture and evens out your energy supply. Mobility keeps joints moving freely and reduces the physical tension that quietly drains mental focus. Neglect any of these and you introduce a vulnerability, whether that's discomfort from stiffness, energy dips from unstable blood sugar, or reduced circulation to the brain. The point isn't to chase exhaustion, but to draw on these complementary effects in ways that match your actual work demands. You don't have to overhaul your schedule to cover these bases. A straightforward blend, supported by concurrent training research, is daily micro breaks, 2 strength sessions each week, and 2 short cardio or mobility sessions. Meta-analyses show that mixing endurance and resistance work yields more cognitive benefit, especially in older adults, than sticking to one mode alone. Circulation boosts from cardio, muscular capacity from resistance, and tension-reducing mobility work together to create better daytime cognitive resilience. When arranged well, each type of movement supports the others instead of competing for your limited daily energy. Keeping cardio moderate is often the most effective approach for workday clarity. That means activities like brisk walking, cycling, or swimming that raise your breathing and heart rate without leaving you shaky or lightheaded. These sessions can fit mid-morning or at lunch to reset focus without cutting into your afternoon output. Even 10 to 15 minutes is enough to produce an alertness lift that lasts for hours. Strength work, on the other hand, can be kept to 2 focused sessions per week, targeting major muscle groups with moves like squats, lunges, push-ups, rows, or presses. The goal here is gradual progression, making muscles work just a bit more over time to improve energy stability, posture, and movement efficiency. Mobility can be treated as the maintenance layer. 2 short sessions per week plus tiny doses throughout your day: shoulder rolls, torso twists, hip circles. Cut down the physical wear of long sitting or repetitive movements. This isn't just comfort. It frees up cognitive bandwidth, otherwise spent processing low-grade discomfort, which subtly erodes your concentration. When joints and muscles can move through their ranges without restriction, your body stays ready to change position easily, protecting both focus and endurance. Within a work week, these elements can be mixed in simple ways. One example: Monday, short moderate cardio and mobility. Tuesday, strength. Wednesday, mobility with scattered micro-break walks. Thursday, a second strength session. Friday, light cardio and mobility. Daily, regardless of the primary session, make a point to stand, walk, or stretch briefly every 30 to 60 minutes. These breaks don't need to be complicated. Walking to refill your water, pacing during a call, a few wall push-ups, anything that interrupts stillness, restores circulation, and refreshes attention. Organizing your movement like this creates a steady supply of the physical signals your brain associates with readiness. Cardio sessions provide sharper circulation boosts. Strength sessions stabilize and improve energy use. Mobility keeps your mechanics clean, so those benefits aren't undermined by creeping physical strain. Your fitness tracker might still tell you that you've met your step goal, but now those steps are distributed, supported, and structured to actually serve the hours when cognitive performance matters most. Once you begin treating movement as a way to engineer both your physical and mental state, it's clear why a steps-only approach leaves gaps.